Alright, hello, welcome and/or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and it's time for March, yes, no, maybe, and I'm gonna be honest, I thought I'd already filmed this. So this is gonna go up in a couple of weeks. I thought I'd already filmed it, but I hadn't, so let's go through it. As before, I will tell you, my yes, no, maybe is much like the online trend. I'm gonna go through and tell you each book that I read in March, maybe give a very short synopsis, and tell you if I recommend it, maybe if I recommend it, and no, I don't think I recommend it. So at the top of the list, March was a very vibes reading month for me. The first thing I read was Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Moss. I can't say that I recommend it unless you really love comedic romantasy. It wasn't. I don't know how I would describe it. It's a time. It's a vibes read. You know, it's for funs. It's for funs. That's all I'm gonna say. So no, unless that's very specifically your thing, and I know it's very specifically not a lot of people's things. So that's gotta be a no. I will add, I did start the second book and DNF'd it. I decided that the first book was really all I wanted. I didn't want to finish the series, but I did have a good time with it when I read it. So there's that. The next thing that I read was The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. If you like dark, intensely vibey like historical fantasy romance, yes, this is going to be a yes for you. It is heavy on the romance part, so know that. But it feels very similar, and I said this in my video where I talked about it. It feels very similar to Pits and Poison by R. Rada, which has a new name now and I don't know what it is. It feels similar to that. I liked that better, but this is good, and I am looking forward to the rest of this series. It is coming out in the new pretty paperback editions the rest of the year. I read and caught up on Rooster Fighter, so Volume 9. Rooster Fighter is a yes if you like satirical, ridiculous manga. Think JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I specifically recommend this manga series for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fans, because this is going to be right up your street, way up in your alley. I don't know if it will work for everyone else, though. It's chickens and roosters fighting demons. And yes, they are humans, but they don't do anything but scream and run away. So there you go. I read Cabaret in Flames by Hache Puyo. I don't know if I'm saying that name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. This is a horror novella about a young girl who works for what are effectively vampires, and her history gets drawn into this hunt for her mentor. It is very topical for the time, especially related to things regarding the list that has come out in America. It's affected worldwide, but come from America. So if that sort of thing, trafficking and abuse, is upsetting to you, you're not going to want to read this. And the horror on the page is not like active horror. It's not happening. It's her reliving her past and her history. So know that. I do recommend it, but with a very heavy disclaimer. The British Are Coming by Rick Atkinson. I have to give this a no. I think I messed up on my consumption of this. I don't think the audiobook is the way to go for this, and that's how I read it. So until I can reread this physically, and I do intend to do that, I have to sit at a no, but I do know from people who love specifically this era of nonfiction, like this particular historical, why am I blanking? The Revolutionary War. For people who love that, they swear by this. So grain of salt, y'all. Wolfworm by T.K. Fisher. Do I have to tell you it's a yes? Disclaimer on this. I know this is supposed to be yes, no, maybe, but with horror, I do like to give disclaimers, and this has some heavy bug horror. If you don't like bug horror, you ain't gonna like this. This has parasitic bugs, so like under the skin. So yes, but if you don't like bugs or under the skin bugs, creepy crawlies, no, it's gonna go for a no for you. For me, this was a yes. Your behavior will be monitored, and I don't actually have the author written down on this. I am so Justin something, I think. The cover will be here. Yes, if you're looking for like a short mixed media style AI story, yes. Oh yes, this was really good. I really liked this. It's told entirely in chat logs and records. It was fun. It's about a guy who gets hired on at a company who are getting ready to launch this new AI, and he's supposed to help train the AI on marketing, and the AI and its two other AI siblings, they're trying to keep them from reaching sentience with poor success, let's say. The Vanishing Cherry Blossom Bookshop by Takuya Asakura, which has started my Japanese fiction, like, binge read, maybe. It didn't quite hit for me. It was a very pretty book, like physically pretty. I got it cheap at Barnes & Noble, and I enjoyed it. But I don't know if I would recommend it. I think I would actually recommend other Japanese fiction I've tried since more. Artifact Space, yes. Yes, 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 yes. I loved Artifact Space. It's a little dense. It's long, but it is so worth all of it. It's so good. It's so good. I loved it so much. Oh, the audiobook too. Fantastic. The audiobook narrator speaks a little slowly, so speed her up, but she gives a lovely, lovely voice to this character, and I truly cannot wait to read the next book, which I have on an e-arc and I plan to pick up very soon. Yes, yes, yes. If you like science fiction, you need to read this series. I read Zero Hero Level 1 by J.D. Astra, and I didn't talk about this one in a video, mostly because I just felt so on it. I have to give it a no. This one started off promising about 4 girls who have like superhero powers, and they are trying to stop something from happening, like this dark force is turning people into monsters. It just read too juvenile. She's supposed to be a college student, but it read like I was reading a middle grade book, which was a very weird thing. And then we had a romance that was not built at all. We went from who's this guy, and then it felt like bam, kissing, and it was like no, I didn't like it. I'm hoping that this was maybe just this author's attempt at writing something geared towards younger audiences, because I have some of her other work on my Kindle. We'll see, but that's a no from me, guys. Whack Job: A History of Axe Murder by Rachel McCarthy James. The title gives you the summary. This is also going to be like a no. This, instead of looking at it in like an overall broad sense, we look at it per like axe model type throughout history and location. And while that was interesting enough, it just didn't feel cohesive. And a lot of things she talked about were familiar, like the Lizzie Borden murders has been written about at length. And so I was just like, okay. I gave it a 3. Unless you really, really, really want to try it, maybe a skip. After the Fall by Edward Ashton. This author's not for me. Mickey 7 and its sequel were just not for me, and this was my last try with him, and it's just not for me. So this is going to be a no for me, but I do know that a lot of people really like his work. If you're interested, download a sample and try it on Amazon, on Kindle. That could work. Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. Yes. Another hearty yes. Another hell yes. Another fantastic. This is a grimdark, dark fantasy. So if you don't like grimdark, you don't like actively sending people to the realm of the dead, you're not going to want to read this, but it's so good. The main character, for the bulk of it, is like, if you want a book with an elderly female main character, you're tired of reading about 20-year-old women saving the day, Rue is like 60 or something. She is well on in her years, and she's doing all this. And then we have another character that does some really badass things, and she's got dementia, right? Oh, it's so good. 10 out of 10. Loved it. This and Artifact Space were my favorite books of the month. Night on the Galactic Railroad by Kenji Miwazawa. Yes, this is a classic Japanese children's fiction. They made it into a movie. It wasn't Ghibli. I was wrong in my Friday reads, but the guy who worked on Astro Boy worked on the movie of this. So if you've seen this movie or you have interest in like classic Japanese cinema, yes, this is a yes. I really liked it. The Trident and the Pearl is gotta be a no. I'm so sorry. It started off strong, but then for the plot's sake, the characters started acting like fools. They started acting like actual idiots, and I could not tolerate it. Couldn't tolerate it at all. And then the last book that I read that I actually don't know that I have talked about in a Friday Reads yet is The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst. That's a maybe from me. I really loved the writing. I loved the idea and the style of it. But I kept getting abruptly jerked out of the story when the character would mention the fact that she's 16 or 17. Like, she's young. She's young. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. She's in high school. that's weird. And it would throw me out. And I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if the writing just was lending itself more to an adult fantasy with a young protagonist. I'm not sure. It just didn't quite connect the way I wanted it to. That being said, I loved the writing so much. I'm very excited to read The Spell Shop, which is actually on my cart. I was looking, no, it's right there. I have on my shelf because that is an adult series, which means we should have adult characters and it should work better for me. So fingers crossed. I might actually try to read that sooner rather than later. I know I say that often, but it is on my list of things to try quickly so I can know if I should unhaul it or keep it and get the rest of the series. So that is the last thing, and I gotta give it a maybe. I don't know how to feel about that book. Beautiful physical edition. I had it pre-ordered, but I did cancel it because I just didn't know how to feel. But that is it for March Reads. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Let me know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts are, if you would give them a yes, no, or maybe. I don't know if you heard that thud, but they're up there playing. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye, y'all.